Welcome back to Petty Astrology. I'm your host, Kaycee Felton-Lui. It's Taurus season, and living in this hellscape may be the most important time ever to remember the joys of being alive. That's right, remember those good food, cozy blankets, laying in a patch of grass in the sun, enjoying nature. It may be tempting to think that we have to white knuckle through this time of immense change that we're dealing with. But I think if we erase joy and pleasure from the equation, then what is it that we're fighting for? What is it that we're moving towards? What is worth harnessing our collective power for? Every Taurus season, we get a Scorpio full moon that reminds us of these important questions. But this full moon in particular connects the answers to those questions with this collective change that we're experiencing in Pluto in Aquarius. And that's what today's episode is all about. Today on the podcast, the Scorpio full moon. Let this transform you. If you've been listening to Petty Astrology from the beginning, this is our third Scorpio full moon together. And that is impressive to me because Scorpio is about endurance. And this one is pointing us at what we are enduring collectively. But maybe enduring is the wrong word for it because, like I said in the intro, we don't want to white knuckle our way through this. And maybe you're not a Scorpio. That's fine. You've got me. I'm a Scorpio. And I have to say, we do know how to have more fun than we get credit for. Maybe Taurus is known as the fancy pants, the one who enjoys life. But remember that these are sister signs. And I can tell you one thing about me. I like enjoying my life. And like any Scorpio might, I have been through my share of shit. I have done years of therapy. It is not an uncommon experience as a human, but if you know, you know. Because Scorpios, sometimes we survive some things that change us to someone that we never thought we were or could be. And that doesn't have to be a bad thing. In fact, I think it's an incredibly powerful thing. It's not about making a home of your suffering and carrying it around with you, because I guarantee we've all met Scorpios like that. And hey, that works for some people. There are a lot of people that can market their pain and their trauma and make a whole personality out of it. And you're allowed to do that. I'm a big proponent of choose your own adventure in this lifetime. And one thing about Scorpio energy is that once it knows what kind of adventure it wants to be on, it's pretty relentless about pursuing it. And that's the kind of energy we need to hold right now as we move towards another full moon in Scorpio together. This one, like all Scorpio full moons, is powerful because Scorpio deals in power. There is power in our pain, in our suffering. That doesn't mean it's good or we have to like it, but there's power to be found in it. And this full moon in Scorpio, in particular, is aspecting Pluto in Aquarius. They're forming a lovely separating square. If you've been following the astrology lately, you know we've had a lot of Mars energy in the mix because we had Aries season and this very supersized Aries season with a lot of planets hanging out in Aries. And even though we're in Taurus season now, we've moved on. We still got a bunch of stuff in Aries, including Mars, which is the ruling planet or one of the ruling planets of this full moon. And the other is that Pluto in Aquarius that I am so taken with, because at every turn, it's reminding us of our collective power, that human beings are an incredibly interesting species in what we get to do and how we create together. This Scorpio full moon is illuminating our power personally, but more than that, it's also putting us up against our collective power and showing us that there's more that can be done and that we actually have the power to do that. One of the things I think we're going to see on a collective level for this full moon is evidence that the people are in motion. We've seen so many signs that people have had enough. Mass protests, organizing, and conversations that haven't really been had in as big of a forum as they're being had right now. It may feel like the bad guys have all of the cards right now, but all it takes is looking around your community or places not even too far from you to find that there are people out there, and a lot of people out there, harnessing their power to create collective change. And while that is a lovely thing to do, you'll find that they're not doing it because they want to look good or they want to get into heaven. Maybe some of them, that might be the reason. But for the most part, people are showing up to do this work because there is some aspect of it that is giving back to them also, that is making the world more what they would like it to be. A place where, among other things, there is more security and there is more support. Those are things that are lacking in many parts of our cultures. Marginalized communities have been doing this work for the longest because those are the people who have had to do this work. And more people are becoming marginalized in some way or another, or maybe realizing that they've always had some level of marginalization because they are not a white, able-bodied, wealthy person. More people may be coming to that realization over this full moon, but if you look around, and I hope you do, there will be signs that we really are in a moment of collective transformation. People's consciousnesses are changing. And when you have a collective transformation, that means masses of people are changing on an individual level in various different ways. One of the incredible possibilities for this full moon is that we can use this energy of awareness of these realizations and decisions that often come around full moons. We can use this energy to transform energy, to take something in your experience or in how you feel, and if necessary, release the baggage that doesn't belong there, that isn't helpful to you. But you can transform that baggage into something that is actually useful to you. And because you are so powerful, as we all are, you get to decide what is the outcome of that transformation. What is it that you're making out of this? Scorpio is the essence of magic, taking one thing and turning it into something else. And this is the magic that we all experience of being alive, because I guarantee none of us are how we were when we were an infant. We might have a few things in common, but our essence has changed and evolved quite a bit. And yet we are the same person that we were when we were born. We can use this Scorpio full moon to evolve deliberately by letting go of whatever may be standing in the way of you embracing your power. And the kind of power I'm talking about requires honesty and truth, personally and collectively, which means embracing the dark and ugly truth rather than avoiding it to live in a false reality. This is not power for power's sake. That is what fascists seek. But this is about being more powerful, but more satisfied, but more supported. Embracing the fact that we are in a moment of change and taking it into our own hands. The changes that we create in our personal life ripple out into the collective. The jobs that we take, the friends that we make, the community that we involve ourselves with. Whatever we channel our energy into, our power into, manifests in some way in our collective reality. As you take this full moon in Scorpio, not so much to let go of. I mean, it is a letting go in a way, but it's more of a recycling. As you recycle what you don't need anymore into something that you can actually use, that helps you embrace your power, remember that you are part of something larger that is transforming you, whether you like it or not. And in that transformation, there is not only joy and pleasure, but power to be found. The power to change yourself is the power to change the world. We all have it. This full moon is about helping us remember that. Well, I was going to do a whole section of this podcast with my predictions for this full moon in Scorpio, but I think I'm going to save it because I really like what I did in that first bit, and I really want people to hear it and not just freak out about current events because we know that it's a shit show. Not all of it, because remember that May Day is about the workers in the world showing their power, showing how they're using it to transform the world into something better than we have right now. And this year is going to be pretty big. Like I said over in Patreon, I write a free newsletter there every week where I give you a sense of what is coming up in the week ahead. And this week I said it is going to be contentious energy. The fascist power is going to be on full display, and they're going to have their police out there reminding people that they're in control right now. I'm not saying this so that you don't show up and do whatever it is that you're there to do, but I just want you to be prepared. I want you to take safety gear and a safety plan very seriously, because especially from now through November in the United States particularly, but honestly around the globe too, there is going to be a lot of state violence. In order to build power, we have to protect ourselves and each other. That is one thing that we can really practice on this full moon. So be safe out there. Take care of each other. If you want to hear more of my predictions for this Scorpio full moon and what the astrology has in store for us in the month of May, join me for Petty Astrology Live this week over on Twitch or YouTube at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. If you can't make it live, don't worry. Sponsors of this podcast get the replay. It starts at just $5 a month over on Patreon, and you get all my bonus episodes and even more astrology. You can find all the links you need in the show notes. That's it for this week's episode. Tune in on Patreon for even more Petty Astrology. This podcast was written, edited, and produced by me, Kaycee Felton-Lui. It was also produced by Dork and Tony Penne. The podcast art is by Max Swanson. The music is by Paul Schneider. This podcast was brought to you by my sponsors over on Patreon.